And we're unmuted. Welcome to the Scarred Thumb Podcast. Hey, good morning, Deborah. Good to see you. How's everything been? Oh, dang. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. I had to sneeze there. I don't know why I had to sneeze the second I started the podcast, but that's how it works sometimes. Feels like the week's just gone by really quick, but thankfully we have another great week coming up next. I was a little sorry about getting the stream up a little bit late. I've been busy this morning doing other things as well. But let's get right into it. Let's talk about this. Was an older story. I didn't get to talk to it last week, but I think it's worth covering. So this is from Automaton. I think this kind of focuses on like Japanese interviews and then translates them. So Nier creator Yoko Taro says there are less weird people in the game industry nowadays. Hey, good morning, X-Runner. Drakengard and Nier series creator Yoko Taro is known for being fairly unconventional. As you can see by the picture of him wearing a mask, I don't think he shows himself in like public, both in the sense of his self-presentation and the stories he tells through his games. However, hiding behind the creepy mask and enigmatic persona is an avid X user. Recently opened a Q&A for fans answering questions on various topics, ranging from restaurant recommendations and life advice to industry insight. One fan asked the question whether gaming industry had a lot of weird people, to which Yoko Taro responded, not as many as there used to be, but how important are the actual weirdos of the industry, and what does that mean to be a weirdo nowadays? So I was reading the true biography of game creators and laughing like, LMAO, there sure are a lot of people with strange personalities. Is it true that there's actually a lot of weirdos in the game industry? If it is, which sectors had the most of them? The fan asked in their message. And then Yoko replied here on his X account, I've been part of the game industry for 30 years. I feel like there's less weird people now. I don't know if it's something simply happened in my own field of view, if the game industry ended up like this, or if the whole world is like this now. To be weird is to be free, and it's no exaggeration to say that Yoko Taro himself is a weird guy. He has even called his own games weird games for weird people in his past talks. This emphasis on weirdness seems to be the foundation he builds his games on, focusing on more niche tastes of the author rather than having elements that could be considered marketable. In an amalgamation of talent, luck, and rebellious spirit, this seems to have ended up in a recipe for success. According to Yoko, the first Nier games were treated as experimental projects, and no one expected the series to be a hit. So, I think this is definitely true, that there are less weird people, because the game industry has kind of become like an established, really established like multi-billion dollar franchise, or industry, I should say. And there's a lot of business people now with lots of money that are investing like, billions, hundreds of millions of dollars of their money into it. Yeah, you don't necessarily want a weird guy at the helm, like maybe Yoko Taro. I mean, now that he's got success, people are like, all right, this is going to work. He's got a proven track record. But when you have that kind of weirdness, you're not going to get millions upon millions of dollars. And not to mention, the general culture has become a lot more professional. It's a lot less, guys in garages making games. So people that are weird, especially when you have women in HR, you're gonna have a hard time making it. When you're in like a culture that's very much female centric, and it's going to you have to sort of constantly sort of tamp down your impulses to and try and get along with people. It just weird people. You have the sort of creative vision that's unconventional, is something different. But you're also that also usually comes with some other like behaviors, unconventional behaviors, And if it's like in a big like corporate office setting, I just don't see that those type of people surviving in that setting. Of course, there's also like the indie scene, which I think they could still kind of strive in. But it's not surprised that I think he's right that there's less weirdos in the industry. I don't think there's less weird people than there is now. It's just now it's become very, very hard to be expressive in the video game industry. And nowadays, he's wearing an Emil outfit. Okay, I don't know what. Actually, I think you mentioned that you played near Action Hunter, so I'm not familiar with the series as I haven't played any of those games. But here's our tour here. Who's also a game developer working on Soul Ash. Yeah, gaming was more entertaining without HR departments. We need more weirdos from all around the world to make cool games with complete disregard for political correctness and other imaginary rules imposed by experts, journalists, and social warriors. That's true, and it's unfortunate because it's supposed to be a creative field, it's supposed to be an artistic field, but when you have leftism is just so prevalent in these left-wing creative fields, especially when you go over to the West Coast where a lot of games are made, like Silicon Valley and that kind of stuff, San Francisco, that tech area, even places like Nintendo of America, like it's so prevalent in any big creative industry. That guys with vision and like a sort of like weird flair, if they're not able to like toe that super fine line, and it is a super fine line. You think like they espouse the fact that you're supposed to be creative, you're supposed to be bold. Those are the kind of things like an artist, not conforming to standards, being avant-garde. Those are like ideals of an artist that they'll preach, but they never actually go through. The second you cross the line and offend, a group that people are protected, whether it's like D&D making the orcs a certain way, like, oh, you can't do that, or like, oh, space jammers were like, oh, the monkeys were slaves. Well, that's too much like black people because reasons, I guess. If you have a monkey that used to be a slave, then that might be offensive to black people somehow. It's try to explain the logic behind it, and it sounds super racist, but that's just how it is. So there's just if you're a guy that's like slightly autistic, that isn't socially calibrated, which comes a lot of times with the sort of weirdness and creativity, you're not going to make it in a super like in an EA or a big industry like that. It just isn't going to happen. It's sad. It's sad that these people, men like this, are being forced out. But hopefully, independents, smaller companies, they're able to, find a place and succeed. Let's move on, because this is related to Steam. So this happened a little while ago too, and I didn't get to cover it. So this is a Epic Games here. Hi there. We're removing Dark and Darker from sale on the Epic Games Store March 5th in consideration with a court decision in Korea between Nexon, the game's publisher, Iron Mace, and then on November 25, it'll be removing Dark from your library. So removing from the game store on the 5th, and then on November 1st, 2025, you won't be able to play it in your library anymore. It'll no longer be playable via the Epic Games Store. So, effective immediately, players can no longer purchase Redstone Shards, Legendary Status via the Epic Games Store. So this is like a live service game that apparently there was a court decision between Nexon and Korea, or in Korea between Nexon and the publisher Iron Mace. They were saying that they, were stealing assets from them or something like that. I think Iron Mace was like a spin-off. People from Nexon sort of separated and then started making Iron Mace, and they're saying that they stole some assets or made it on company time or something like that. There's kind of something similar with Blue Archive, which I think is another Nexon game and a spin-off of their company that tried to spin off from it. But this is one of the things that happen when you have digital games like this, especially live service games. And it's just going to happen. It is. I think it's going to be even more prevalent as we look. So this is comparing Steam downloads. This is from Pirate Nation, 2013 to 2025. It's really interesting. So this is 2013. Each point represents Steam download activity from at least one Steam user in a recent 24-hour period. And then you look at it right now. It's just insane to see the difference. I mean, digital is the future for games. It just isn't going to change. It's amazing. When you look just at the prevalence of it spreading, it just totally overtaking Europe, America, basically the first world. And it's crazy. You're just not, oh God. People pointing out that India has way too many downloads, and they're 100% true. This is not good. Not good at all, but that's here nor there. It's going to happen, and you're going to see stuff like this become more and more common, as it's just amazing. Yeah, we could just remove it from the store. You own it? Not anymore. That's what happens when you have court decisions like this. I think there is I'll maybe talk about it next week. I just didn't have time to research it, where there's like a European initiative to try and at least, where people that make video games have to allow the game to be available offline when they shut down the live service game. Like some sort of regulation like that. And I'll have to look into it, because in some ways I don't like the government kind of interfering in businesses, what businesses do in their IP. At the same time, part of me also like, nah, do it. Like, if you don't have some consumer protection that's, enforced by law, then it's not going to be done, because a business is always going to do what's in its best interest. And if it costs a ton of money, or potentially they lose sales on like whatever video game 2, live service game 2 that they're going to come out with, since this one's unprofitable, then, like what, they're not going to do it. And it doesn't matter if, people invested, hundreds of dollars into a live service game. Like, what happens, with Riot Games if they come up with like a League of Legends 2? Are people going to, people put, thousands upon thousands of dollars in that game over like the course of 20 years. If you make an offline version available, is that going to compete with, League of Legends 2? I say League of Legends 1, League of Legends 2, but, that's something to talk about on another time when I've researched it. This is another thing, but sort of Steam news. This was pointed out to be Steam dropped 8 brand new games. So Blightspire, I guess none of the things are loading. That's weird. But I was gonna check these things out. I just haven't had time. There'll be Light. I don't know if let's see. Can I open a new tab? Blightspire looks pretty cool. Has like a sort of like boomer shooter type of vibe to it. There will be Light. This is like a puzzle game. Pretty neat. Let's see. The Mountain of the Moron. This one looks terrible in my opinion. I mean, but it might be sort of interesting. An interesting platform. I mean, the graphics are hideous when you look at it. And the gameplay itself, like, it's one of the things where this is like pure gameplay. It's not, the graphics are like 0 and just strictly focused on jumping. This does not look good. I mean, you need some style, some graphical interface. And this is just terrible looking. But the gameplay might be fun. Some people like that kind of stuff. This is a Upfall is another one. This one actually looked really, really cool.
Dodging and near-death experiences.
You've
fallen into the depths and need to make it back to the surface.
Sort of bounce on these bubbles and stuff. Well, like one of these are like roguelike type of things. It looks pretty addictive to sort of get into it.
Looks and sounds
to do runs. I could definitely see this taking hours upon hours if you get into it of your time. Ruin HD is the next one. Let's see. It looks like another boomer shooter. Pretty cool. It's kind of Doom-like. And what is this? Parallel. It's like, I don't know if this is like supposed to be a survival horror. I'm not really into horror games. But yeah, it looks like a more of a one of those horror games. A stealth-based survival horror. Oh, stealth and survival horror, two of my least favorite things. This is another one of those horror games where you walk around and check stuff. These are super popular stream. I've never liked them. They just look boring to me. Glutton-free games and Infinity Blue is the last one, which is so this is an immersive ocean eco-sim where you can be almost any animal under the ocean, from tiny seahorse to massive blue whale. All right, so seems interesting. You're a shark. It has mixed reviews. I don't know why. It's for free. You can play it for free. Let me see what the review. I'm kind of curious what the reviews are. Early access review. Where's the negative review? Picked starting shark, no prompts, controls, figured it out on my own. Bite stuff, target stuff, possessed other fish. Tried to possess something else. Crash. So I guess it just kind of a rough, controls. I guess it's a little bit, rough on terms of what it is. That's cool. So yeah, Steam, some free games to check out if you're looking for some entertainment. I'm sure something you'll find something that suits your interest. But man, we're two weird people. This is, you guys are familiar with Mango. He's one of the best Super Smash Bros. Players in the world. And this appears to be at this Mario Kart World Cup. So you combine cute girls with drinking and guys, and well, things might not end up super good. So here's these girls.
We're not drunk, guys. Yeah, we're not drunk.
There's Mango.
But Mango, on the other hand,
Mango, he's drunk.
he's humping Toad. No.
He's humping Toad here.
End the stream. End it.
In his shorts here. He doesn't have any clothes. This was this incident that got Mango canceled. Here, I guess, the humping motion. I don't know exactly what specifically making her uncomfortable. He made a woman uncomfortable, and really that's what makes it bad. So he's been banned by Twitch for 3 days. Oh no, doesn't really mean anything. But also his whatever C9 people that sponsor him, his org that sponsor him. We are aware of the recent event involving Joseph Mango Marquez and fully acknowledge the concerns raised by our community and partners. Following internal evaluation, we have made the decision to release him from Cloud9. Regardless of tenure or accomplishments, I love this paragraph. The behavior demonstrated is entirely unacceptable and directly conflicts with our organization's core values. We maintain a zero-tolerance stance regarding harassment or any other form of inappropriate conduct. And then, of course, respectful, inclusive, and safe environment for everyone associated with Cloud9. We wish Mango the best in his future endeavors. Like I said, you're not allowed to express your sexuality or make women uncomfortable. This was an event put on by Ludwig. It's honestly, I don't get why, if like C9 really cared about their people, why would they let them do an event like Mario Kart? If you clearly have a bunch of alcohol, you give guys a bunch of alcohol, you have a bunch of cute girls, you live stream all of it. nothing bad and expect nothing bad to happen. It's just, it seems like a disaster waiting to happen, and unfortunately it did. I mean, is this terrible? Really, it's not. I mean, it's nothing criminal. It's just awkward and looks dumb. And I'm sure it's not really going to hurt Mango or his popularity, because, I mean, what is this? This isn't really much, but I don't know what the Cloud9 sponsorship got him, if anything. I don't know what these like video game esports orgs actually contribute to their players. As long as he has a popular, I think he already has a pretty loyal fan base, so I think he's going to be fine. He commented on it, no one to blame but myself. Man, never thought I could hit this low. I mean, this is your low. Dropped after his actions on Ludwig's stream. Emotional apology being dropped by Cloud9, so he's sorry about it. People are saying, oh, he has an alcohol problem. So other people like C9 is woke trash. I'll never buy another Cloud9 again. I mean, is this cancel culture? I don't know. This is because, I mean, when you do something like this on stream, it's not good. This isn't a good representation of anybody, any organization. Going with your shirt off and humping people. Just is it being drunk on stream? Like I said, like I don't know why anybody would allow this. I honestly don't know why Twitch would allow this. I mean, you're allowed to be drunk on stream. Do they allow smoking on stream? Maybe they do. I don't get it. They try and, there's too much going on. I don't understand like what Twitch is supposed to be. Like it seems in one minute they're like very concerned about stuff like this. Another they're having, hot tub streams. They're also, the main place for video game streaming, which has a large young teenage audience. But what is it supposed to be anymore? I don't know. It's just this giant umbrella. And people are also like, oh, he's got an alcohol problem. What does that have to do with it? I mean, if you can't hold your liquor, don't go to an event like this. Like, don't stream drunk. It's always going to end up badly. But I'm sure he'll be fine. I'm sure Mango will be fine. He'll do all right. He has a loyal audience. He's in the Smash Brothers much lower. He'll do okay. And this is one of the things in a week. It'll be forgotten about. But let's move on. Let's move on from Mango. This I have to sort of. I don't really follow Hytale or Hypixel. So let me kind of preface this. This was an announcement 6 years ago that has 61 million views. So let me try to explain while we look at this beautiful trailer. Hypixel is an extremely popular Minecraft server, and it kind of focuses more like RPG mechanics. Has like a lot of mods for Minecraft that focus more on combat, RPG mechanics. As you can look in this trailer, you have a lot of Minecraft elements, but there's obviously higher resolution, more details to this stuff. They're trying to get away. This isn't what happens in the Hypixel servers, but this is their kind of vision. What if Minecraft was more RPG, MMO focused, with like a lot more enemies and combat, more detail, but still had all like this sort of sandbox building ideas, but have flaming swords, a lot of stuff that you would expect in like an MMO plus Minecraft. Got a lot more detail, fish, sharks, all this stuff. This guy's jumping on a minecart. I mean, this looks like a pretty cool concept for a game. And this 6 years ago, look how far they are in this. These magic maces. I assume they have classes, community servers. Whoa. Got a guy in just a casual outfit, people dancing. Mini games. Hypixel has like a lot of mini games like Bed Wars and stuff. They make a ton of money off those modded Minecraft servers. Powerful tools, epic adventures. Whoa. Be yourself. Watch videos together. This looks like a very ambitious... Make movies. Live scripting. Oh my gosh. Very ambitious projects here. For this Hytale project. Wow. So, this ends up getting acquired in 2020, the COVID times, back when there was lots of acquisitions going on. Riot Games acquire Hypixel studio developer of upcoming block game Hytale. Update. June 25th, development of Hytale stopped and Hypixel Studios began winding down operations. So Riot acquires them in 2020, and in 2025, almost 5 years later, there's a statement from Simon Hypixel, founder of Hypixel and Hytale. I'm sad that no one will be able to experience the music, art, sounds, and coming together in Hytale. There is no other game like this. The talented builders, artists, composers, and everyone were truly the greatest creatives I've ever met. You would just wander in game for hours, immersed in the beautiful world that felt like home. The amount of content the game had was immense. That was my experience of 5+ years ago. So imagine today. Everyone loses by not getting Hytale. There are no winners. Even those who are capitalizing to promote their games this week, in the replies, other social medias would have greatly learned from what was accomplished. A unique artistic experience that only had a handful of people got the chance to be part of. We all tried games like Minecraft / Hytale out there. All of them. None gave me the feeling of walking around in Hytale. No one has managed to merge arts of all kinds like Hytale did. From art to engineering coming together to create a beautiful world. Wish there was something that could be done, but it's pretty much too late at this time. So, Hytale shut down. Ouch. Or is it? Well, this is a difficult update from Hytale. So they were canceled. They're bought up. And now Riot has decided to shut... I don't know if it was Riot's decision to shut them down or if it was Hytale's. It seems like it was Riot's decision. They acquired them and then kind of shut down the studio after a while, as they just couldn't get a product out in this sort of 5 years that they've been developing it, and I'm sure costing a lot of money. But is it? And then, of course, the Riot was streaming League of Legends tournaments to 30K people, and the chat was filled with people spamming about Hytale. Save Hytale, please. So there's a lot of fans that are looking forward to Hytale. You got autistic Minecraft people. They're a force to be reckoned with. So this is Simon Hypixel. Is it over? I get it, 100%. Look, I am even down to put 25 million USD by myself to finish Hytale. That's how much I believe in it. No Kickstarter, just raw passion, high pressure, and high risk taking. Reduced scope, legacy engine, PC only first, open source some parts, small team, cut unfinished features to accelerate towards beta, get players in ASAP to support development. I even had a dozen of Hytale legacy engine veterans working with me. That's what I would do. But I have not reached out. I'm just thinking about it now because of the bullying. Haha. This would be a massive challenge and impact all aspects of my life, so I'd probably need to consult with my family first. So it would require a lot less money to get something that could be released in very early access. With temporary removed features, we could just get the community involved ASAP in modding, bug reports, feature requests, crowdfunding, and find ways to use shared source and open source with cash bounties to speed up production and keep the team relatively small. Guys, it's important that you... So he's thinking about trying to bring it back in a very reduced, very small, early access idea. It's important to keep extracting extremely low because we usually when large companies shut down a project like this, the chances of revival are next to impossible. Yes, I made the decision. I will give my best to save Hytale. Even if it's a 1% chance, it's the least I could do to the save community that gave me an opportunity to be where I am today. Like I said, this Hypixel guy has made millions off custom Minecraft servers, so that's why he has $25 million. They make buku bucks. Buku bucks. I mean, yeah, 6 years. They still don't have something that's... Well, I think it's basically... I don't know how much Riot owns of Hytale now, and how much they're willing to sort of give up or, let them use. So maybe everything that was developed during the sort of Riot times is property of Riot Entertainment. So I don't know if... I don't know who owns what. So there's a very good chance that they'll never be able to do this at this point. Because, I mean, is Riot going to sell the Hytale name? Or how much does Hypixel actually own? It's remains to be seen. It will take months to get answers and months to get it done. I will share as much as possible. So maybe he's able to buy it back or, give them a cut. Who knows what's going on. So maybe it's not dead. Maybe it'll be revived. It seemed like even in this trailer, there was like so much shit that they were trying to do that it was like doomed from the start, You have community servers, you have mini games, which is, just sort of Hypixel's main thing. Powerful tools, be yourself, epic adventures. You can make movies, do live scripting. Who knows? Like, there just seems so much involved. They just couldn't decide to focus in on a adventure game, How's it going, Jack? Good to see you. Good to see you, sir. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what comes out of it. It'll be pretty crazy if they're actually able to save it, but I just don't see it at the moment. This is cool, though. This is Digital Foundry, which focuses a lot on performance stuff, but this is their comparison between the Switch and the Switch 2. When it comes to... This is Echoes of Wisdom.
When you move to Switch 2 here, we're seeing consistently across the board more stable frame rates, every game at 60 FPS, 4 times the pixel count in most games, sometimes even higher than that.
I assume that's Galaxy
titles.
or Odyssey.
Resolutions between 1440p
Splatoon
and 4K in docked play, consistently resolutions at 1080p portable, which is about as good as you can expect there. And I think it's a really good way to sell people on Switch 2, especially if you're coming from some of these games and you haven't played them as much on Switch 1. I feel like this is a great opportunity to play them on Switch 2. I also think this is a good validation of the system's capabilities because it does have the grunt to put out really high-res imagery, native 4K imagery even, just in simpler titles.
Now, this is a big difference.
Switch 1 software, Switch 2 can consistently deliver it at like 1800p 60, 4K 60, these kinds of resolutions often. So that's very satisfying. And that's very capable for like this little tiny 20-watt kind of quasi-handheld machine with this tiny fan, tiny heatsink assembly. That's very cool. When you move to...
I mean, look, if I've already played Echoes of Wisdom, but if you haven't played a lot of Switch 1 games, it seems like you get a very good upgrade when you play it on Switch 2. I mean, I've been thinking I need to go back and play Splatoon 3's DLC, and playing it on Switch 2, it'll look even better. Well, that's a really cool plus to owning a Switch 2 right now. Is you essentially get free upgrades for your Switch 1 games. Pretty nice. This was also interesting. I think this was X-Runner. Yeah. Hat tip to X-Runner for showing me this. This is a Neuralinks.
We actually have Nolan playing Mario Kart. Now, what's special about this particular clip is Nolan is not the only cyborg playing Mario Kart in this clip. We actually have a whole community of users, as mentioned earlier, and this is literally 5 of our first users of Neuralink playing Mario Kart together over call.
All these people playing Mario Kart, paraplegics. That's how they're all men. That's like men take part in dangerous when they risk doing these implants to further technology. They're also, become paraplegics through some sort of accident.
Now, yeah.
And of course, now they're playing Mario Kart.
It's cool. You're using one joystick and then you're clicking like a couple buttons to throw items. What would be even cooler is what if you could control 2 joysticks at once, simultaneously with your mind?
We got this Osama bin Laden here. talking about Neuralink?
What I'm about to show you, and I think this is for the first time someone playing a first-person shooter game with a brain-computer interface. This is Alex and RJ playing Call of Duty, controlling one joystick to move and the other joystick to like point your gun and then shooting people as a button. Here's
This is doing it without hands. Just the Neuralink.
Good. I know, dude. I want you to freaking shoot. You won't. I do. Okay, Alex, got you. I know, dude. Shot me in the face.
Last user I want to talk about is Alex. You've seen some clips of him earlier. What's special about Alex to me is he's a fellow left-handed guy who writes in cursive all the time. And what he mentioned is since a spinal cord injury from like 3-4 years ago, he's been unable to just like draw or write. And he always brags about how good his handwriting was. So we actually got to put a test. We gave him a robotic arm. And I think this is the first time he tried using a robotic arm to write anything. This is a sped version of writing up a convoy trial and drawing something.
Wow.
Now, controlling a robotic arm is cool, but this one has a clamp. And what would be cooler is if you could decode the actual fingers, the actual wrist, all the muscles.
Imagine this. Like, if you can use your mind to control a robotic arm, could you use it to control an entire death robot? We're getting... The mech future is coming here.
And what would be cooler is if you could decode the actual fingers, the actual wrist, all the muscles of the hand in real time. Just in the past couple of weeks, we were able to do that with Alex, and you're about to see him and his uncle playing a game.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Now scissors. Bullshit. More?
Flicking people off. That's great. That's great.
Cool. Controlling, yeah, that's pretty dope.
That is wild, being able to play with your mind. Neuralink, it seems pretty cool, but I mean, it's very, you know, at this point, it's very crude. I don't see it like getting mainstream popularity as long as you need like a brain implant, like going into brain surgery to get it. If it could become like a wearable thing, something you just put on your head, and it could respond to your thoughts, I mean, that would be pretty crazy. That would be pretty crazy. Come in, you control a robotic. Imagine like, you know, you're just controlling a robotic arm, picking up giant stuff, rather than like the sort of caterpillar, like big things. You just like a scoop arm and your construction and, or, you know, who knows what you could just be control. No more need for mouse. I'm just thinking. GDDDD. Of course, I don't know how much concentration you need to, how it works, but it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing stuff in the future. Speaking of digital futures, the Dextro here saying that Super Smash Bros. Director Sakurai believes game companies need to use AI to survive. Creating large-scale games like we do now is too time-consuming and unsustainable. But, quickly got community noted. This is a heavy mistranslation. In reality, Sakurai was lamenting that some developers are choosing AI. And this is a more of a translation. After talking with people and reading through the article, they got to the conclusion that makes sense. The article is heavily mistranslated, and what is supposed to explain the fact that Sakurai is lamenting the current direction of the industry, and that AI is an option some devs are choosing. There's sort of controversy, I guess. Is Sakurai pro AI? Who knows? Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. Or maybe he's just saying that video games cost so much money that AI might be one way to reduce costs and allow companies to put out their product, which kind of makes sense. Personally, I like smaller games at the moment. Smaller games that, you know, are tight and tell a really, you know, good story. It's not, you know, the giant open worlds with a bunch of empty space. I do follow some weird stuff. I will be hooking myself to a Titan for the Emperor. It's coming. It's coming, your digital future. Maybe our brains will be stuck into robots when we, oh no, I'm dying of cancer, or like, oh, my mom, they just take your brain out, put it into a robot, and they're like, kill, kill, kill. That kind of stuff. Who knows? Who knows what crazy future is coming for us? This Death Stranding 2 was another. Speaking of big games, this came out, and it's getting pretty good. Some of the stuff I've been seeing seems pretty good. I am not the biggest fan of Hideo Kojima. I think stuff is like really, how do I put it? What's the word I'm looking for? It's not obnoxious, pretentious, maybe. It does, like, the videos I've seen look funny, but like I've said, videos, that's what they are at the moment. They're funny videos, not the gameplay itself. I'm like, that's whatever. But some players are, for Death Stranding 2 on the beach, are finding that their PlayStation 5 consoles are overheating while trying to play the game. It looks like the day one base model, I played around 3 hours at a time, no issues. So some people are saying that they're not. The Sony Defense Force is out here. Playing quality mode, performance mode has issues. Liquid metal problem. So maybe at this point, PS5 is it is getting older, and I think it's reaching the point where they might need to come out with a new console. As at this point, the games and their capabilities just aren't. The old hardware just isn't able to keep up. One particularly egregious review for Death Stranding 2 got a lot of attention here. So, this is from Michael Legacy Killer. Let me create an imaginary synonym to get points in my game review. So this was GameStop here. Gave it a 7, which is good. Of course, they make this like red. Maybe they do that for all of their ones. The good, revisiting the world of Death Stranding, exciting, photorealistic visuals are stunning. Even on the base 5 model, core gameplay is unique. The bad, repetitive story beats are too close to a first game. Focus on weapon and a spectacle detracts from uniqueness. Friction is lost, rendering some challenge superficial. This highlighted one. Questionable tropes around women. Very interesting. Very interesting. Questionable tropes around boss fights are unimaginative. Questionable tropes around women. What does that even mean? It's just amazing. Amazing what they include. Of course, this guy mentions Black Wukong, where the cons are lacking inclusivity and diversity. And he also links to another review. Good old journalists pushing their liberal propaganda. There is no magic in hardware legacy. Wired, it helped me say goodbye to the setting for good. 1 out of 10. Tired. The story is rooted in anti-Semitic tropes. The gameplay feels dated. The graphics feel like they're a couple of generations behind. All the characters. By the way, this Hogwarts Legacy, if you don't know, was the best-selling game of 2024 or 2023, I believe. It was the best-selling game of the year. It did amazingly well. So this person just sort of like, yelling, screaming at the sky here. All the characters are one-dimensional. It doesn't stay true to the established lore. Every character feels off-brand version of the characters we know and love. There's no sense of place, no magic, no heart. This person is seething. Gianna Gray is seething hard right now. Coping and seething in that review from 2023. I guess it was the best-selling game of 2023. It's pretty funny. So it's hilarious. Does a rude review at least go into detail? Let's read this. Yes, and it's even worse than the example they used. Let's see. This obsession with honoring past legacy also carries a baggage of some of the series' worst tropes, particularly about the portrayal of women, which in the first game was also guilty of. While I can't speak with authority about some of the sequel's plotlines, including one involving a phenomenon around childbirth, some scenes cause an exhaustive deja vu. Okay, what are they talking about? This is incomprehensible to begin with. There's an unskippable photography minigame featuring 3 women posing, in front of a camera, as well as a central character who often takes her shoes off, as crew members make a running commentary about this habit. All right, some foot fetish. Is Kojima a foot guy? That's disturbing. The camera pans during cutscenes aren't as excessive as, say, the treatment around Quiet in Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain, but also feels unnecessary, since you're witnessing photorealistic depiction of real-life actors. it can slip into being a bit weird. Oh my God. Female actresses are been sexualized? My God. That's doesn't happen. That's never happened before. I can't believe it. Why would Kojima do such a thing? No woman on film has ever been sexualized before. That's crazy. God. The journalists. You don't hate you don't hate journalists enough. As the old saying goes. You can never hate them enough. Just amazing. And the next time like that loser Paul Tassi like tries to, look at our meta score. It's good. We liked Death Stranding 2. Or like we liked Stellar Blade. It got a good review. It's always they always try and like gloss over bullshit like this where it's like we're giving you negative scores because it's because you included stuff men like, essentially. It's just a constant war on male sexuality in a creative field that has been built by men, is supported by men. The only reason this is a billion-dollar industry is men, because men are the primary people that buy these games. But if you appeal to them, if a guy like Kojima wants to make stuff he likes, and of course he's a man, so he likes attractive women. That's a bad thing. Well, some journalist is going to get upset about it. I don't know who wrote this, but they include it. Oh, it's a retarded dude. Here we go. We got this. The retard who gave Death Stranding 2 a 7 because of questionable charges about women. Him in the bio. Dyed hair. Blue sky listed. Of course he's a retarded lib, of course. Protected tweets. Why are all of them exactly the same and all insufferable? Diego Nicolas Arguello. Some third world piece of shit that writes for the New York Times, Washington Post, Rolling Stone. Him. Yeah. Obvious trash. Probably molest children. Who knows? That same liberal you always expect to be. These people can't die off soon enough. This is what you get. Ignore all journalists. Hate all journalists. Not even commenting. I don't know if this is related, but it could be. At least people believe us that Gamergate was about ethics and games journalism now. Absolute scum. I mean, who cares about ethics and journalism at this point? I think games journalism, liberals, this isn't about ethics. This is about liberals just being absolutely irredeemable garbage at this point. The leftist ideology is just totally incompatible with anything related to men. They just absolutely hate men. They absolutely hate white people. If you don't do something about them, you're just, everything you enjoy is going to go away. It's just going to be made worse because any sort of male desire is bad. Anything related to white people or Christianity being good is going to be bad. It's just constant propaganda against the people that make up the majority of the players, the majority of the people that support the industry. They need to go. They need to go. And until people are just ready to kick them out and just totally. And I think in some ways it's happening. In some ways, it's going to change at some point because I don't know how much longer white people are going to take it. I think a lot of white people are waking up to the fact that if they don't do something, this sort of like tolerance, they're just not. They're not going to survive at some point. They just gotta go. They just gotta go. Well, let's move on to something else. Let's go. Let's do some Grum stuff here. So this was he's hit or miss sometimes, but this was interesting. Eric Lang. This is a Hasbro who makes D&D, Wizards of the Coast. This is why I cannot stand either of those products. It's awful. I work the two different teams at Hasbro, and on both teams, I'm the only dude. Talk about sneaky fucker game right here. From managers to graphics to narratives to engineering, the only dude. This makes me so unbelievably happy. God, I wish I could say certain words on YouTube because the word I want to use, I cannot say, but it starts with an F, and I think you guys know what it is. And by the way, some stunning creative talent on these teams. I've been in this business a long time. These people are easily top 10%. Sure, Eric Lang, we believe you. You're not trying to molest them or have sex with them. If do not get drunk around Eric Lang if you're a woman. It may end up badly for you, because this type of talk, you always see it, and it never ends well. Why are sales so low? It just Hasbro, man. They just, and this is the thing with Wizards of the Coast. Final Fantasy VII is selling like crazy right now. None of their other IPs, and before that, it was Lord of the Rings. Their actual IPs, the actual shit they're coming out with, is doing garbage numbers. The Universe Beyond is going to like overtake. At some point, they're not even going to make their own universes anymore. Right now, it's half and half. In the future, I can see them not even putting out their own content anymore. They just strictly relying on other IPs, because they have teams like this that are all women. The shit they're coming out with does not appeal to men. When you have guys like this in your company, that's like the only guy in your company, they're total simps. They 100% buy into all this liberal bullshit. There's going to be nothing that appeals to guys. There's no like sexuality, no hot women. There's no guys that act like guys, no conflict. We just, a while back, we were talking to one of the ex-designers saying like they were afraid to add anything into like stuff like the orcs, because they'd worried about offending somebody. It's just not safe for them to bother doing. Wes Schwartz for Funko Pop Redditor. Oh, the card game? Yeah, exactly. It's just, it looks like shit. I mean, you looked at the Aether Drift that they came out with, where it's like, oh, Chandra and Narissa, they're lesbians now. Like, oh, that's great. That's what guys want. So I guess two hot girls making out would be something guys want, but it's just that the way they add this shit in is just terrible. They can't do anything interesting. They're not gonna have like stuff like slavery or like anything that's like really evil. It's just they just are totally incapable of making stuff that appeals to men anymore. That's why stuff like Pokemon is going to keep doing well. I think at some point they're just going to fall off. They can only ride this, this sort of, at this point they have to borrow IPs to sort of reinvigorate their franchise. They can only do that for so long. We'll see what happens, but if they don't make a major shift, I just don't see them doing well in the future. Which good for them. I hope they fail. I hope Wizards and Dungeons & Dragons fails, so something else can take its place, because they don't deserve to succeed at this point. And again, Grums. I don't know if I agree with him here. So Nexusmon has gone nuts, banning tattoos for Stellar Blade now. No warnings. You can still find it on Ayaka mods. Is this the stuff Grum's into? The tattoos in question here. Yeah. Black Kings. Let's see. Where I can't read. Honestly, I can't read what this stuff is. But it seems like very much this like black man's property is one of the tattoos. Yeah, good for Nexus mods for banning this. Like, I don't know, why the hell is Grums simping for this mod? I get it, like your principal stance, we should allow everything, creative freedom. You know what? Fuck this. Don't allow this mod. It's gross. We don't need like this pro-blacked bullshit on Nexus mods. Yeah, get rid of it. I'm fine for censorship if it's garbage like this. Good for Nexus mods. This is retarded. I don't know why Grums decided, but he wants to take principal stances on something like this. I don't think it's I don't think it's the best. When they came for the BNWO fetish mods, I said nothing. But this is another I don't know. This is, like I said, Grums is very hit or miss. I'm not a fan. Wonderful though this is something from Wonderful Games has lost it today. Mass deleting tweets and renaming their account to "You a Bitch." They promoted white genocide, erasing whites from the USA and from their game and smearing Jim Ward's memory. So let's see. What have they said? Let's see. Malcolm X had it right. The most neglected person in America is the black woman. It's one of the feasts. Yeah, they don't get tons of welfare and benefits. It's one reason we feature ethically mixed black woman on the cover for our first Giant Lands book, which takes place in a future North America. Wow. In fact, we worked a lot with Larry Elmore, Steve Ounce, Jeff D. to make the art for Giant Lands more representative and inclusive. The premise, what if in the future there were no white people? And James Ward loved it too. Larry always tried to sneak in people of color in his TSR art, though he was often denied in his attempts to make D&D less white. Again, this is what they want. This is why they just need to go. This is why ethics in journalism, I don't give a shit. At this point, I just want these people gone. I don't want them to be more ethical. I want them removed. So we decolonized the RPG and made a future where the USA and white people don't exist. This is mainline leftism, by the way. This is their goal. Is white people in the USA just gone. You'll just be bred out of existence. We're not like you. We'll just eliminate your seed from this earth. Like I said, what he's trying to say is mental illness at this point. No. Seems more like it's not. I mean, you could call it mental illness, but this is just mainline leftism. This is what they want. A little too on the nose with this one, yep. Though, let's move on from this. Let's end it with some fun stuff. This is from PC Gamer. This is 3D Sens. It's on sale now. 1.0. This is an interesting mod. It looks kind of cool in some ways, though honestly looking at it, like when you watch this trailer, I think I get sick of it very quickly. So this idea, though I think in some stuff like this, it actually kind of works, like in an isometric view. This is a emulator of some sort that takes NES games and makes them 3D. That's a Punch Out. Castlevania. Like I don't think the 2D works as well. It's just completely 2D like this. Oh, that was Zelda 2. That looks kind of cool. But you only have like one plane that you're playing in, so to me it's just like like and stuff like this. It looks kind of nice. They have Zelda 1 on this. Ninja Gaiden. It's pretty neat. So like some of this stuff looks kind of fun. Yeah, I feel like in some ways, I mean, it's very contracted, but you almost sort of need like a 3D space, three-dimensional space for this to work. Games that are strictly 2D in their gameplay just doesn't seem like this. Just doesn't seem to do much. This seems more annoying than anything. I assume you can choose to move it around, but what are you getting from this? Like Ninja Gaiden, you just have a bunch of details like almost trying to distract from what's important. But on games like this, I mean, this is still more 2D. I think that's kind of neat. At some point, you lose a little bit of the charm of the 2D pixel art by making it 3D. Like this. To me, this doesn't look that great. I'd rather play it in 2D at this point. Oh, let's see. They got more of it. Let's see. Super. God, that looks awful. To me, this is like super confusing. Oh, like what is this? This looks awful. Super Mario. Like some of that. This is a really hit or miss. Let's see. Let's say a Super Mario 2. Nah. I'm not really into that. I have no idea what's going on with this game. Oh, Metroid. Wow, I can make it shaky and give myself motion sickness while I'm playing the game. I don't know. This is really hit or miss to me. Let's see. What is what? I mean, this looks kind of cool. But some of these games, I just don't think it works that well. We got more Metroid. The thing shaking does not. I do not like that. It feels like it'd make me sick. But this looks like so. There's so much pop in here. Like it just doesn't work. And I mean, maybe this is like they're saying it's like early access, so maybe there's a way they can kind of make it a little bit better. But a lot of this just looks. It's like a novelty. It's a novelty. To me, some of it just, to me, doesn't work very well. Oh, here, I wanted to see what Zelda looks like. I don't understand why they gave like a 3D effect to like the coins or something. It makes them easier to see. Oh, they changed the background too, from like a black, from all black. That ruins some of the. I don't know. I think it looked better with a black background than not. I mean, maybe you can change the perspective because, like, this is kind of tilted to show you it's 3D. We'll see. I'm sure. I actually think it's probably fairly cheap, so give it a try if you're so inclined. Let's move on. This is just to end. Well, I got the demo, but I thought this was kind of more of a fun thing. As you look at this, is the original Kirby drawings from the original developer team, and this kind of shows you who did it too. When you look at, there's a lot of recognizable names here. So I don't know who Tako Shimizu is, the producer, but I think everyone that's a Nintendo fan should know Satoru Iwata is also a producer and a former president of Nintendo. Who passed away a few years back. Probably one of the worst Kirby drawings there. Shigeru Miyamoto, I mean, the GOAT here. Very, very good drawing. You have Takashi Satai. Oh boy, trying to pronounce Japanese names. Satyo. I'm producing it. The designer here with a pretty good drawing here, and of course we have Sakurai, Masahiro Sakurai, who'd go on to be one of the lead producers for Super Smash Brothers and many other games. Really good drawing, and of course the this sort of punchline of this is the programmer Hiroaki Suga. Here is the programmer, and his drawing is really representative of a programmer here, as he has almost zero artistic talent, but he really captures the spirit of Kirby here. They had to draw these from memory here, so a few of them doing very good jobs. You can see which ones have drawn Kirby before and which ones haven't. So very cool stuff. But let's end it today with a little review. This is my game of the week here is the demo for Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. I haven't had a big chance to play a lot of video games here, but Do I not have sound here? Do I not have sound? Oh well. Starting with the sort of iconic beginning, reimagining of the beginning of Ninja Gaiden. And basically right here you have this sort of starting out, getting warmed up. You do have like a... So this is 2D game, but it has like a lot of mechanics, like modern mechanics, where you can like bounce off stuff with this kick. You can deflect projectiles. I always forget. Apparently in this game you can latch onto the walls, the ceilings, and I forget this constantly. Because to me it doesn't make sense in a 3D game to be able to attach to walls, but I just don't think about it. The dodge is insane in this game, where you can like go through. I didn't realize I can just go through the enemy with a dodge. They also introduced like a mechanic. So they have this mechanic where you can one-shot like armored enemies by getting this sort of spirit. So they're in a way like it's almost like a puzzle elements here, where you have to like stay in a hypercharge, and then like I don't make it in time in order to slice these enemies. So the hypercharge system, I'm not crazy about at the beginning, because essentially it almost adds like a puzzle mechanic into it, because you have to like get the hypercharge, kill the enemy to get the hypercharge. Then you have to decide like what enemy I need to hit in order to use the hypercharge. Like you have to make sure you get the armored enemy with that hypercharge in order to survive. So you have these waves here. Like get the hypercharge, and then you got to hit the armored enemy to one-shot them. If not, you can still kill the hypercharge enemies. But like see here, you have to kill in this scenario, you have to kill the guy that's hypercharged, so you can sort of chain the hypercharge attacks. So there, I kill that. But if you have to kill that enemy in order to get another hypercharge, so you can kill the enemy that doesn't have the hypercharge, that aura around it. So it's adding like in these like puzzle elements too, which I'm not a huge fan of. I don't know how I feel about it, but say like there, I make the mistake. Oh, I didn't kill the hypercharge enemy first, so I fail this test. In the game, there's ways to get around it. You can use HP to hypercharge and kill it. So it feels like it's a game that you can still do well with. If you get used to it, I could see it being a lot of fun, as it adds, another extra element of depth into the combat. But initially, I'm kind of like, Like, really, I would just, want different techniques and a little more creativity, and like how I'm going to deal with these enemies. Like, I just use like different techniques to deal with different enemy types, rather than like relying on like hypercharge things. And they add in, if we go on to it, one of the main mechanics is you can have like, apparently like you're linked with the soul of a woman from a rival ninja clan. So you have to hypercharge to kill these armored enemies. And like you can use abilities for her as well. They also have these different platforming like challenges. Let me see if I can find one. Where you have like a limited gauge. You have to sort of get through these puzzles before it ends. Right here, you have to like get this meter, refill your meter. So you're like on a timer. I thought was a funny way to fail this. So you're doing these sort of time challenges, which I'm have mixed feelings about, because they're kind of annoying to go through it. But I think the fact that it's required to get through is what kind of annoys me. It's not that they aren't fun. It's just kind of bizarre. It's kind of weird the way they mixed it in. I'm just failing these repeatedly. And really, when you die, there's really no cost for death almost at all. You don't really you don't have lives. You don't lose any progress. and there is several times when I die, especially at some of these platforming parts. So it's pretty forgiving in that element, in that way. I don't know if there's they introduce a different type of hypercharge. There's like a blue one, what you see on screen, and then there's a pink one, and you have to kill the enemy with the girl's abilities in order to get the hypercharge for the pink one. So if I just use my normal sword attack with the blue auras, I get the hypercharge. But if you use a pink technique, the girl's technique, then you end up getting a different hypercharge, or you don't get the hypercharge. See, I used it on the wrong enemy there, so I should have killed him, then killed that guy. In order to get to, the maximum bonus here. But I could see when you get used to it, like if you play it again and again, it could flow together really nicely. This just might be a game that's like, if it's a shorter game that's sort of meant to be replayed multiple times, I could definitely get into it. I don't think it's necessarily a flaw. It's just something like, on the first impression, I wasn't like super crazy about. But overall, this was the demo. I think it's supposed to come out later in July. It looked really good. It plays well. It's a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I don't have the sound on it because of the way it's recorded. I should have gone in and edited it in Premiere Pro. But Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, it looks like fun. As long as it's decently priced, I'm probably gonna pick it up. Though. Only problem is, like, we've got Bonanza coming out the 17th of July, so hopefully I can fit it in with the other games I'm playing. So this is a pink aura guy, so you have to use like a kunai or one of her techniques in order to get the hypercharge so you could kill the enemy. It's a little confusing at first to understand. Like, see, if I kill this guy with my sword, I don't get the hypercharge, because I didn't kill him with the right technique. So there's a lot of like elements there. So like I kill him with the sword, so I don't get that technique. So I have mixed feelings about it. I'm not good with it yet, so maybe it's just a matter of I'm just not skilled enough with that technique. Once you get used to it, it could be a lot of fun, or a way to make things different. I just don't like the sort of restrictions on your sort of creativity when killing enemies. Like, you can kill these armored guys eventually. It just takes a ton of hits to do so. Well, that's Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, guys. So, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to redirect to Post Zero. I won't be there. I got stuff to do today. I won't be able to make it, but it's going to be a fun topic about using AI for dating. Swipe right on AI, revolutionize your dating game. So maybe in the future we'll be able to use Neuralink to swipe on left and right on our dating apps, and use AI to sort of maximize our algorithms. You never know, but we'll redirect to that. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to like and subscribe. And we'll talk to you next time. Later, guys.